Okay, everyone. Good opportunity for me because it's here with Bill Devlin, IT Executive Director of IT, and this is a passion of mine. I'm like a tech geek in a lot of ways.
I've noticed.
Yeah. And so we've had some fun the last 2 days talking about restaurant security, technology, a lot of different things, and I just wanted to just do a fast casual interview with you and talk about where restaurants are going, where technology is going with that, and the business of the technology, the effective technology on the restaurants, and that because just one thing I really didn't know till I got to know you is you were in operations at one time, right?
Right, I did restaurant operations for 38 years.
38 years.
Yeah.
And then you found out you had a knack for IT?
No, my boss thought I did.
Is that right?
So, Fuddruckers went through a challenge with some a POS install. Todd QT, our COO, who was VP at the time, asked me to come down and help. And I said, why do you want me to come down and help IT? It's not my area of expertise. He says, well, you're good with people, you're good with processes, and you're good with Excel.
Yes.
Good enough for me.
Yes.
So we came down and we finished that rollout successfully, and it just morphed into eventually taking over the leadership role with IT.
And so, now restaurants a long time ago started with the cigar box and cash.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
The old Tech 150 cash register, right?
and
the manual credit card readers with the NCR paper. Yeah.
And clock in and out.
Yeah. No,
right?
handwritten time cards, handwritten tickets to the kitchen.
Right. Until today, we went to Fuddruckers and there's kiosks.
Right.
And people are using their own credit card, right?
Self-ordering. Yeah, it's great. It's great technology. Our guests love it. It's not for every guest, but I think as a goal, if we can get 30 to 35% of our guests using those, I think that's a win. I think that's kind of the standard.
So as a company, how much resources should a company be devoting to technology nowadays?
According to industry average, from a financial perspective, in the restaurant space, it's anywhere from 2.4 to 3.8% of revenue.
Right.
Which is huge. And the sad thing is, just go back several years when you had your very first POS system. You're probably still working off of copper lines. We didn't have high-speed internet. It was a one-person job. And then over time, as you add more and more technology, it requires more and more people. And that doesn't necessarily always translate into I'm increasing sales because I'm investing in more people. So it's,
right.
It's a tough balance. If you've been in the business a long time on the operational side, you're going, why am I paying these IT people more and more money? I'm dedicating more resources to technology. How's that helping me sell another hamburger? In some areas it's going to. You do things like self-order kiosks, mobile applications, online ordering. We're going to have our fingers in those things, but right. You've got network security, company security. Those are costs that are real, and if you don't invest in them and protect your environment, it can put you out of business. Some bad hacker can put you out of business pretty quick.
It was amazing today to listen to you about the vulnerability that we all have now of security and what that is.
Yeah.
And how I told you like 3 years ago, I'm like, you're just being overreactive. But then you watch these companies.
Yeah.
Where do you see that going over the next several years? How much more are we going to have to invest in that?
A lot more. It's not going away. Bad actors are continually looking for ways to steal. Ransomware is rampant. The state of Colorado got hit twice last year, cost them millions, and their employees couldn't work for months. Atlanta, Georgia, they spent $22 million remediating, not paying ransom, remediating from a ransomware attack. And look, as the bigger companies like the Targets and the Home Depots, once they've been targeted, they come up with new systems and ways to protect themselves. When they become harder, where do the attackers go? They just go to that next level of the retail
right.
space. And everybody's just going to learn, as a baptism by fire. It's going to be tough. And until people realize how dangerous it is, not just at work, personally, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get harder and harder and harder.
And just a lot of people don't know. I didn't know what it was until 2 years ago, what ransomware was. That's where someone hacks a business and says, we'll release all your information for basically a fee.
They lock it.
And it happened to our school, at our little school.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, that's crazy because it's more profitable, I guess, to do businesses than individuals.
Yeah, and it's a risk. I mean, but you know, when companies are out there selling cybersecurity insurance, you know, there's a market for it. It's just going to constantly be a problem. It's going to get harder and harder and harder to protect the environment.
So one thing is that this moves so fast. How do you stay on top of it?
I stay engaged in local groups, attend meetings. I hear, you know, what other companies are doing to protect their environments. You know, I talk to a lot of security companies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my phone is off the hook every day. I probably get 3 or 4 or 5 sales calls a day from companies offering cybersecurity, really to complete monitoring of your entire environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really it's at this stage of the game, the experts are saying you're not going to keep anybody out of your environment. It's not a matter of keeping them out. It's when are they going to come in? How fast are you going to detect it? How fast can you remediate it?
Yeah.
So you could put 10 people around your firewall 24/7, you know, updating with every single security policy, but the hackers are starting to use bot technology, AI technology. They just release these things, you know, into the Internet of Things, and just wait for these bots to report back. And they will sit there and surround your environment, wait for vulnerabilities. And once they see it, they take it, they're in, they report back to the hacker, and then the hacker goes ahead and says, oh, good,
Yeah.
I caught a fish, let me get in there and start causing some havoc.
Yeah.
So they're going to get in. So the question at that point is, do you find out the moment it happens or within minutes, or is it days, weeks, months later? You know, a typical hack, a typical business will find out about it 120 days after it's happened.
Right.
That's a standard.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you talked too about the cloud, more things going to the cloud
Yeah.
base versus resident bases. Is that the right terminology? But more cloud based. You see that happening more?
Yeah, I think software as a service, SaaS, you know, is what it's called in the industry. Like, it's more expensive. You're paying somebody else to house your environment, and to house a lot of your applications. And I'm not talking about an Azure where I own a piece of Microsoft Cloud and I keep my stuff in there, but using those third-party solutions. If you use Great Plains, use their cloud solution. If you use a payroll service, use their cloud solution, right? They're just as apt to be vulnerable as anybody else, but they typically have more money and resources wrapped around protecting that environment and a true stake in protecting it, because if ADP payroll processing gets hacked and they get all this payroll stuff, they're out of business.
Yes.
So we're going to trust those people. And you know, when you pay for those services, part of the premium you're paying for is I'm keeping it off my premise and somebody else's, and they're going to protect it.
Yeah.
And so it's less for me to have to worry and manage.
Right. So if somebody was wanting to go in this industry, the IT, the tech industry, things like that, what kind of advice would you have someone starting out? How would they get started?
You know, actually, I work with some college kids at San Francisco State University, and I'll tell you the same thing I tell them, because they all have high aspirations of wanting to come out and getting big jobs. It's always good to start at the bottom. You know, in the restaurant industry, I started as a dishwasher, busboy, waited tables, cooks, worked my way up to senior positions. Don't be afraid to start in a service desk position. That's really where the action is. You're going to learn a lot. Even if you come out of with a college degree in network engineering and you try to get that first analyst job, there's nothing wrong with starting in a help desk, because you get to see everything. And by the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about the customers you serve.
Yeah.
And when you're on the front line, and that's what your help desk is, they're the front line, they're out there dealing with the pain of your users every single day. And if you have the right people, they're looking to ease their pain, get them back to work and solve their problems. But get in with a good company, start there and work your way up.
So with IT, you know, you get here at 9, you leave at 5, you're off all the time.
9 to 5.
Right?
No, there's no such thing.
There's no off hours.
No, you know, I'll tell you, a lot of my team, we get in anywhere between 5 and 6:30 in the morning. We're here till 5 or 6 at night. The work is never done. You know, there's always more projects get thrown on our plate, more than what we can handle, and we're always going to never have enough time to finish everything, right? I like to get in at 6 in the morning, so it gives me a couple hours to go through email, have a cup of coffee, get, you know, some of my admin stuff out of the way, so when the phones start ringing, meetings start happening, I've got a lot of my work done, and then I use the afternoon to kind of decompress as well and wrap up, so I can go home and enjoy time with my family and not really worry about work.
Yeah. So I'm thankful as I got to know you more, and we spend more for all you do to help protect us as franchisees, and all you do for that. And so I like to end on a quote or anything that you live by, or something that makes a difference in your life that comes to mind.
Honestly, I mean, I know you like to use that acronym MAD, get mad, make a difference every day. I don't say that, but I think it. I try and operate the same way. I want to have a positive impact on the people we serve. It's not about me and the job I do. I serve the people that work underneath me. What can I do to help them be successful? If I take that approach, then hopefully I'll be successful in the same process. So just making a difference every day, and really easing people's pain. Technology is a big deal, and it changes so rapidly. People get comfortable. It's like running a restaurant. I mean, if you're in a restaurant business for years and years and you're successful, and then all of a sudden you feel like dynamic shift in the business model one way or another, it makes you feel uncomfortable. Unfortunately, in technology, you don't get years. It's weeks, months,
Right.
quarters where things change. We have to do a good job of helping people transition, and it's hard because it does change fast, but let people know, hey, we're going to be changing something. We're going to have training set up for you. I'm talking about just taking storage off of on-prem and doing cloud storage. That's like that book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes.
Right? And it gets people sideways. So we have to take time to help teach and educate people on what's changing, and more importantly, why it's changing. Because I think when people understand the whys, and again, unfortunately, it always has to do with security.
Yeah.
And we're chasing the rabbit down the hole, and the rabbit changes directions, and we have to change with it.
And meeting customer expectations too,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Just all in between, making it easy and transparent.
Everybody's a
Trust.
customer. It's not just customers in the restaurants. I mean,
Yeah.
people in the office are customers. Our managers are customers, right?
Amen.
We serve a lot of different masters, and we're happy to do it. It's fun. Sometimes
Amen.
it's stressing, but for overall, it's a fun gig.
Well, thanks for taking time.
You
to
bet.
All
You bet.
right.
Happy to
Well,
do it.
God bless you.
You too,
All
sir.
right.